Ready for 6.5, 10:30 a.m., consideration of a resolution amending the master fee schedule for departmental services rendered by the county. This is by admin, and we have our Deputy Director Moreno.
Deputy County Administrative Officer, yes. Casey
Oh.
Moreno.
Sorry.
So I have a few different departments that have requested that their fees be changed. I also have a fee study done for environmental health to present to you today. So I have a PowerPoint. This or, oh, okay,
Is it shared on Zoom? It doesn't look like it is.
it's not shared.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So the first department is behavioral health. They are requesting that 3 of their fees be reduced down to their original rate that they were prior to the last change that went into effect on July 1st. The reason that it increased so significantly was due to the state mandate on medical payers, and so they have decided that they don't want to charge private payers that same rate, so they are reducing them back down to their pre-rate. The next one is code enforcement. They are requesting to add fees to be in line with the rest of community development, which is advertising, postage, copies. Next is library. So they are requesting one of their fees be amended to say missing or damaged cases or charges for library devices. The fee is going to stay the same, $10. So we're just changing the description. All right, so into the environmental health fee study. There was a few variables that were noticed during the fee study. So the current data management system has significant deficiencies, which lead to staff taking a lot longer to enter time into the system. They are resolving that with their current RFP, which closed. They have selected a vendor. It's RFP number 2327, so they are in contract negotiations at this time. The next is staff are double coding to projects. So there are instances where there are 2 staff members that are required to go out for safety reasons. And so they are both coding time to that same project code. That has been resolved effective immediately. A few months ago, they added a new activity code so that they are able to split out their time, and in future fee studies, it will only be accounted for once. And then time spent on similar projects varies widely. Some projects will take, a small amount of time. Other projects will take a lot longer. Travel time is a huge factor in that. So that was a huge variable in the fee study. Their goal is to implement their new data management system, and that should be starting in the next few months. And then to reassess the fees in the next 3 to 5 years with a new fee study on their new data management system. From the fee study, in conjunction with county admin, it has been recalculated. Their hourly rate should be reduced to $103 an hour, not the current $135. Historically, environmental health has been increasing it by the CPI, and so a fee study was just completed, and it should actually be at $103 an hour. Just as a comparison to surrounding counties, Mendocino's at $150, Sonoma's at $218, Yolo's at $176. Yuba is $167.99, and Glenn County is $92.07. So there was quite a few land fees that had some pretty significant changes. So the first column is the fee prior to the fee study being completed, so prior to July 1st effective date. And then the last approved fee study, master fee schedule update, which was effective on July 1st of 2023. Next to it is the fee study results, and then the recommendation for today's master fee schedule update. So just to highlight a few of them, the septic abandonment was prior at $137. What was approved was $144. However, the fee study results were $674. So they are recommending the $175 be removed or be approved. I'm sorry. Next one is to highlight the new permit cap and fill. It was previously at $748. What was approved was $1,751. The fee study results was $3,009, and so they are requesting it be approved at $975.
I have a question on that. The fee study results is the actual cost or the median or mean cost of doing that service?
Correct. Yeah, it's the time spent over the past 5 years, not including 22, 23, but the 5 years prior to that. Time spent compared to the time that was charged.
And so I'm not against making things more accessible to people. However, I just have to question if we're going to, for example, the site evaluation, we approved it at $600. The fee study says it's $935, but we're going to reduce it to $550, even though the study shows that it costs us $935. At what point is that a gift of public funds, knowing that it costs us that much and us even reducing the cost? Just kind of curious where that line, when are we straddling the line and when have we completely gone off the line?
And that's part of the variables I mentioned previously. Was the time spent was not always accounted correctly in the system. So it takes, like, to write a receipt, it should only take 5 minutes to enter everything. It's taking half an hour. So, and that's just basic data entry from the front counter. So when the inspectors are going in, they're not able to currently go out to the site and write their notes. They have to come back to the office and do that. So their time spent is taking a lot longer than it should. And then if there are two people going out for safety reasons, they're both coding to it. So what really took an hour, it's coded as 2 hours. So there's that. And so that's why they want to come back with a fee study in 3 to 5 years and hopefully get closer to being in line with what it's actually costing.
But if two people were out there, don't we have to bill for both of their time, even though it took 1 hour?
I asked Craig about that and the environmental health director, and he said it depends on what the reason is. If it's safety, because anybody going to Pillsbury, they send somebody out there with them because cell reception. So that they don't feel like they should charge the applicant for that because of their location. If it's safety reason, like somebody is being difficult, I feel like that should be charged, but we have to be fair to everybody.
So just for the public's understanding, these are self-funded departments. So we
Correct.
have to make sure that we're appropriately charging, but also not operating at a loss. And so
That's why I asked the
we're
question.
so we're very confident that these recommended fees won't be operating at a loss and we won't have to supplement with general fund.
General fund does not get pulled over for environmental health. They do pull from realignment from public health.
Okay.
Just one other question. I believe that the law is increases need to be identified through a fee study of sorts. We increased it to, let's just use the new permit standard from 642 to 982, and now we're recommending to bring it down to 900 based on the fee study. Did we have a fee study to bring it to 982? So why is it 3 months later a new study has identified it as less? I'm just kind of curious if there's, what do we do about all the permits in between 7-1 and now? Because it would seem to me that we either didn't do an in-depth fee study or we did a very bare bones. It's weird to do two studies, one that says increase and then 3 months later having one that says, by the way, decrease it. It makes me ask questions as to how did we ever say increase?
So there was only one fee study that was completed. And so the original fee study that was submitted and those numbers that were taken off of there, environmental health felt like people would not pay those prices. And because of those variables that they are working on resolving, they didn't want to increase them so high that people wouldn't pull permits. And that's their main concern, is if they're too high, people won't pull them, and then they'll still do it, and then we lose out even more.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I also just, hearing this discussion makes me think of some of the folks that I've spoke with about their permits, and their concerns are like one of the situations in their permits. There's room or topics that they need to pay a permit amount because of the potential road, the roads.
road impact.
Yeah, the road impact. I know in the specific areas that I'm talking about, the roads probably haven't been done for years, so they're like, what? Why are we adding this to the permit for this when it hasn't been done? So, I mean, in some instances, I see the recommended for these type of situations, but I do hear you when it comes to, self-funded departments and needing to, not only be made whole, but also have some sort of, increase that helps with, some of their budget. So, I don't know, I just wanted to say that because I'm hearing you say a little lower recommended, and in a sense, that makes sense to me because of what I just described about those impacts and maybe some other things too, but, yeah.
So here's a graph showing the same fees that we were just looking at the data for, and the purple bar is the fee study, which is significantly higher. And so hopefully with the next fee study, they'll be a lot closer in line, and those variables will be addressed.
And is that going to be next year or how?
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years?
Yes, and the reason for that is the new data management system is going to take them some time to get used to and get training on and get everything uploaded on there. So they want to use new data and not use part from the old data management system and part from the new.
Okay, thank you.
Next is the well fees. So there was just 2 of them that they are looking at reducing down to $135. Previous was $108 for each of those fees, and then the fee study came back quite a bit higher. So next one is food fees. So these were the only fees out of all of the food that they looked at that had a pretty significant change. So to highlight the restaurant bar under $650, that was $745 originally, increased to $1,403. Fee study came back at $1,871, and they are now recommending $850 be approved. The vehicle mobile food facility, that one was originally $151, increased to $281. Fee study came back at $375, and they are recommending $200. And then the coffee house kiosk low-risk prepackaged food, that was originally at $204, increased to $633. Fee study came back at $844, and they are recommending $400. Also to note, the approved master fee schedule that was approved effective July 1st, they have not been collecting those high rates. They have been collecting on the original, so that now that they're decreasing most of their fees down, there's not a need for a refund or anything like that. And then a graph showing the fees for food, and the purple again is the fee study results. And then there's a few fees that were highly variable, and they are requesting that they be changed to the hourly rate. Just a few to note on there is the mobile food facility plan check, remodel, and alteration. That one was previously $307. What was approved was $481. Fee study came back at $641, so they are requesting that be changed to an hourly rate. Consultation pre-application fee, That one was originally the hourly rate at $135. However, the fee study did find on average over the past 5 years, it was $899. So because of that huge difference, they're requesting that be changed to hourly so that depending on what the consultation or pre-application is, they can charge appropriately. And that is the end of my presentation.
Okay. Supervisor Sabatier.
So a part of me has some concerns. Everything looks good as far as what's recommended, but the process, I'm slightly confused. We're talking about a fee study. There will be another one done in 3 to 5 years, but I fully anticipate that there will be changes in the next iteration of years as we go through the fee schedule. And from my understanding, you can't change the fee schedule without a fee study attached to it. So are there miniature fee studies that come along with it? Is it just based on salaries and that whatever 2%, 3% increase might be, that's what happens for the fee schedule? I think that I'm going to ask, and it doesn't have to be given to everybody, but I'm going to ask next time there's a fee schedule, I want to see all the fee studies as to why we're seeing the increase, because it's supposed to be there, but it's not shared with the public, it's not shared with us. Here you're sharing some of the final data, but it makes no sense that we just increased it, whether that was May or June, and that now we're doing, based on a fee study, another iteration of it. So to me, why wasn't that done in May, or no changes in May and changes today with the fee study? I'm very confused. It feels like multiple fee studies are occurring, or one of them's not occurring, and we're approving increases that maybe we're not getting the right type of reporting. From this perspective, I have concerns that I'm not understanding how it is that we got to the point that today we're reducing things. So I just want to make that request that I will be asking for all the fee studies from now on, just because it's not been made easily available to both the, I know it should be available if I ask for it, but this feels awkward in the way that we've done this. Appreciate that things are being reduced. I hope that we can make sure that our departments stay whole. That's important to me because we shouldn't be gifting public funds to individuals that are trying to do projects or start businesses. But at the same time, I feel like I'm less understanding of this process today than I was before. So,
Supervisor Green.
Thank you. I appreciate the questions. As I recall, my questions had to do with the original adoption of this fee schedule, and at that time I was expressing discomfort with the fees that were enacted that were pegged to that previous fee study. And my discomfort at the time led to me voting no on the fee schedule, no offense to the rest of the departments and their very lovely fees. I'm very appreciative that environmental health, and Mr. Weatherby in particular, took my comments to heart, and maybe some of his own internal thoughts on where we landed with the fee schedule when it was enacted based on the prior fee study. I do want to point out on the attachment, the changes are highlighted in yellow. Yes, there are lots of reductions. There are several increases as well. And I think overall it is a thoughtful approach to taking a look at all the fees that environmental health is charging across a wide variety of activities, land permits, food permits, and in particular I want to highlight the changes to our cottage industries, our cottage food licenses, our coffee houses, our micro-enterprise home kitchen operations, which is a new type of permit that we do to support people that can't stand up a full-service restaurant. So we want to encourage those people that are doing entry-level work in the food service as they potentially grow up into a full-service operation. So I acknowledge the questions with the fee study. I'm encouraged to hear there will be a new data system that will help EH moving forward in really accurately charging its actual costs, and I hope that data management system will inform the next fee study so that everyone will have a real comfort level when that comes back. But I just want to highlight that although there are some substantial price reductions in here that could potentially raise questions of adequate cost recovery, I'm just strongly supportive of it because I think the vision is there. We do need to charge adequate fees to make the county whole, but we also have to be very conscious of the impacts these fees can have on people trying to set up and run and maintain businesses. And so I'll be supporting this.
Okay. I'll open it up for public comment. Do we have anyone in the chambers who wishes to give comment on this item? Or in the chambers, or I'm sorry, in the Zoom room? Not seeing anyone in Zoom? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Madam Chair,
Oh,
if I may.
thank you, yes.
Just as a point of clarification, understand that there were several revised attachments that were provided in the agenda packet for this item, and I believe staff is, for clarification, looking to have the document labeled as revised 10-23-23-MFS update 10.24.23 changes only as the Exhibit A referenced in the resolution that's before your board today. And in that resolution, as revised, on page 1, section 2, the phrase highlighted in yellow should be deleted then, as part of the amended resolution that's before your board.
I don't see it highlighted.
In the packet,
Are you looking at the revised resolution amending master fee schedule 1024?
yes. It's labeled revised 10-23-23-AA resolution amending master fee schedule 10.24.
So this that says the fees and charges highlighted in yellow in the attached Exhibit A would be deleted?
Just the phrase highlighted in yellow.
Okay. Oh, I was looking for something that was highlighted in yellow. I apologize. Do we need to specify which one is the Exhibit A that we're finalizing, since there's so many revised?
Right. And if your board wishes, as I stated, the staff is recommending the document labeled as revised 10-23-23-MFS update 10.24.23 changes only as the Exhibit A for that resolution, because that does not contain any highlights.
You can offer that.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I understood the logic and that we didn't need the full exhibit of fees. It's only the ones that we are changing that we are approving in the amendment. Okay. I offer the resolution, the appropriate resolution as stated by County Council
And as amended.
and as amended.
Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes.
Supervisor Crane?
Aye.
And Supervisor Pyska?
Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you.